divine order.
Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to the first season and first episode of Moving the Mountains podcast. I am Trishina Barzar-Hunter. I am a motivational speaker, certified life coach, certified emotional intelligence coach, and this podcast is dedicated to really helping people get out of their own way, overcome their barriers, get in touch with who they are, fall in love with who they are, and move mountains. So I want to welcome you to the first podcast for Moving the Mountains, and I really hope that you enjoy the content that I have here. Today, because of what I'm seeing with a number of my clients and the people that I'm working with, I want to talk a little bit about getting in touch with who you are. You know, a lot of us, especially in the digital age and social media age, are finding that we're putting up this persona. We have like this alter ego that we present, whether it be on Instagram or on Facebook or just in general when we're out hanging with friends. And somehow along the way, just by existing, we've kind of lost exactly who we were when we started. We've lost ourselves in the roles that we play, whether it's as a wife or a husband or a mother or a daughter or an employee or just the roles that we say that we are on social media. And we lose touch with who we are at the very core of our being because we've added all these layers to ourselves to please the people around us, to adapt to certain situations and circumstances. And on top of that, a lot of people, just about everybody in life, in fact, goes through trauma or crisis or chronic illness or pain or surgery or abuse. And all of those things cause us to shift the core of who we are. When we were little, we started out with these big dreams, these things that we wanted to do. Some people wanted to be firefighters or actresses or singers or movie stars or doctors or lawyers or the president of the United States, if you will. And along the way, life happens. We adapt to certain situations based on how we're treated. We change who we are to avoid conflict, to avoid pain, to avoid hurt. And along the way, who we really are gets lost. And in the pursuit of self-love and self-care, we have to know the core of who we are. And so I encourage everybody to take a moment each day and peel back the layers of who you pretended to be and get to the core, to the bottom of exactly who you are. The very core of who you were when you still had dreams and aspirations and no one could tell you that you weren't awesome and wonderful and beautiful and amazing, because you still are awesome and wonderful and beautiful and amazing. So I encourage you, take a few minutes each day, get to know you again. Get to know you outside of Facebook, get to know you outside of Twitter, get to know you outside of Instagram, outside of who you are as an employee, outside of who you are as a wife, a husband, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a mother, a daughter, a son, a father, any of those things, because we live in this world right now that is in constant turmoil and constant conflict. And as we try to learn and grow and adapt to that constant turmoil and conflict that is surrounding us every single day, we lose ourselves. We're afraid of saying the wrong thing, of doing the wrong thing, thinking the wrong thing. We second guess our every emotion, our every action, our every step, because we've lost the core of who we are. And who we are is amazing. Who we are is enough to accomplish anything that we want to. So take a moment each day and get to know you, the you that got lost along the way, the you that existed before whatever it was that happened to you, whatever it was or whomever it was that hurt you or broke you or abused you, whatever chronic illness you may have faced, trauma, crisis, whatever it is, find who you were before that again. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen tomorrow. You're not going to just wake up with all of your baggage being gone. But take 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day. And think about who you really are. What do you really value? What really makes you happy? And then tell yourself what you deserve. Tell yourself what you want. And ask yourself if you're giving that to yourself. For a lot of people, you're going to find that you aren't giving that to yourself just yet. And for most people, it's because they don't feel that they deserve it. They don't love themselves enough, or they're busy comparing themselves to everything else around them, or what they're seeing on social media, which oftentimes is fake anyway. So get clear on who you are. Take those steps. Take that time with you every day to learn again. Peel back the layers of everything that you've put up as a front to get in touch with you. And then identify what the real you wants, what the real you deserves, and go after it. If you enjoy my message, please go on social media, like, click, share. On Instagram, I am at Moving the Mountains Coach. On Facebook, I am at on Instagram, I am at Moving the Mountains Coaching. On Facebook, I'm at Moving the Mountains Coach. And you can find me on any platform by simply looking up the hashtag Moving the Mountains. You can find me on my website, www.movingthemountains.net. I am currently here to help you and service you. If you want to have a free coaching session, reach out to me, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you overcome whatever self-inflicted barriers or obstacles, or even the external barriers and obstacles that you're facing that are keeping you from living life on the terms that you deserve. Living a life with self-love and self-care, and free from the fear that you can't pursue the things that matter to you. So I value your time. I thank you for taking a moment just to spend with me, listen to what I have to say, and reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Whatever social media platform it is that you use, I'd definitely love to hear from you. Like my page and reach out to me and let me know maybe what obstacle you'd like to know how to get past or overcome. And remember, every mountain can be moved if you are willing to take the first step.
If I can climb the mountain, then I can move the mountain. If I can put one foot in front of the other, and everything works in divine order. If I can climb the mountain, and I can move the mountain. If I can put one foot in front of the other, and everything works in divine order.
Hey to all the beautiful ones out there. I want to take a moment and thank you for joining me, Trishina Barzar Hunter, on the second episode of Moving the Mountains podcast. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about healing, the healing process, the healing journey, and what it really looks like and what it feels like and the impact that it has on us. I was on Instagram pretty recently and I came across one of the many inspirational memes and pictures that we see. And it says here, let it hurt, let it bleed, let it heal, and let it go. It says that this quote was done by a Nikita Gill. And this really spoke to me. And the reason for that is because we're taught that in order to appear strong, we have to pretend like it doesn't hurt. In order to appear successful, we have to act like everything's okay, or that, our wounds aren't still harming us, that our pain isn't real, that everything is simply okay, when that's not the case. For everyone listening right now, your circumstances, what's hurt you, what you've been through, is completely different. No two of us have the same exact journey or the same exact story to tell about what they've been through or what we've been through. In my personal case, I went through 5 brain surgeries in a period of 5 years. During that same time, I had septic shock. During that same time, I had 2 strokes and 3 breast reconstruction surgeries. And the one thing that I learned is that pain is definitely real. And pretending that it's not real, pretending that it doesn't hurt, does not speed up the healing process. Denial of the pain, denial of your wounds, denial of the things that hurt you don't help you move forward. They don't help you heal. You have to allow it to hurt for a moment. You don't have to spend years dwelling on the same hurt, but it's okay to take a moment, to take some time to feel what hurts you, whether that's physical pain, whether it's emotional pain, mental trauma. It is okay to take a period and let it hurt, to feel it. You're human. None of us are robots. So let the hurt linger for a moment. Certainly not a suggestion to dwell on it, but let it hurt. Sometimes in life, it's gonna bleed. It's messy. It's not easy. It's troublesome. Everything is just coming at us all at once. It can be something with our kids or with a marriage or our health or a loved one, loss. Especially right now, we're dealing with COVID-19, and so many people have lost loved ones or have loved ones in the hospital that are fighting for their life right now, or people that can't get their medical care because of the overwhelming impact that it's had on our health care. But nobody has to pretend that it's all okay. Let it hurt. Let it bleed. And if you've ever had a wound or a cut or anything of that nature, you'll notice that the bleeding stops when the bleeding's ready. You can pack it with gauze. You can dress it up. You can cover your wound and bandage your wound, but the bleeding stops when the bleeding is ready. You don't have control over that. No one does. You have control over reactions to that, but it's okay to feel it. Because once you have taken the time to let it hurt and you let it bleed and you let it stop bleeding, you dressed it up, you put your ointment on it, you bandaged your wounds, whether they're physical, mental, or emotional. You bandaged them all up, and finally the bleeding stopped. Then you can actually begin the healing. Then you can actually focus on letting it go. When I was going through all of my trials, going through all of my surgeries, I had friends that would tell me things like, don't tell people how bad it is. You don't want to make people feel bad. You don't want to lower morale. You want to make sure that you're upbeat at all times. And truthfully, being upbeat at all times, pretending everything is okay when you're dying inside or you're physically struggling with your health or even your emotions, and pretending everything okay is exhausting. And many of us are exhausted and worn out simply because we spend so much of our time, effort, and energy pretending that everything's okay or pretending that we're somebody that we're not. It's not to say that everybody needs to know all the details of whatever it is you might be going through, but to say that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to admit it hurts. There's nothing that says you have got to be strong all the time. And I mean this for everybody, but in a lot of ways, I really mean this to my Black women and those that really have to put up that brave front all the time because of the expectation that says that we are not allowed to hurt. We're not allowed to feel pain. We're not allowed to let it bleed. We're just supposed to skip the let it hurt. We're supposed to skip the let it bleed and go strict to let it go. just straight to let it go, is kind of how Black women and a lot of other people are just expected to handle crisis or pain or trauma or events that cause severe emotional distress. And that's really just not how it works. It just leads to us burying real pain, real trauma, deeper and deeper and deeper, which prevents it from actually healing, which prevents the wound from stopping bleeding. It prevents the scarring. It stops it from callousing over. So we can finally pick up the pieces and move on. And then it leaves us wondering why we keep going in the same cycle. And the cycle continues because the hurt was never processed. The hurt was never addressed. The wound wasn't given time to properly bleed and then properly stop so that we could heal and then we can move on. So I just wanted to give that message to you all today. It's Wellness Wednesday. It's the 1st of July, and all of us are going through a lot right now. This is a very heavy time, and nothing says you have to be A-okay. Nothing says you have to pretend to be strong for anybody. Most of us have children, and yes, we're putting on a brave front and we're staying strong for our kids. But it's okay if you hurt, because there's a lot of people hurting all over the world right now for a number of different reasons. And the bleeding will stop once the wound has been handled the right way. And then you can begin to actually heal. Take a moment and process your feelings, process your hurt, process whatever it is you're going through. And how you process might be different than someone else. I certainly hope that you're not using any self-destructive methods to do so, but take the time to feel what you're feeling. And for you, what you're feeling right now might not be hurt. It may be anger. It may be sadness. It may be frustration. But whatever that is that you're feeling, let it happen for a moment. Give yourself time to feel and process that feeling. If it needs to bleed, let it bleed a little bit. Allow yourself to process through it. Allow it to heal so that you truly can pick up and move on. Don't forget to take the time for your self-care. Spend a little time getting to know you every day. And ask yourself how you feel about whatever it is that's hurting you, whatever it is that's bothering you. Once you've done that, you're going to find that you're able to see the world a little differently because you've processed the pain and you've given yourself the opportunity to work through it, to feel it, to let it heal, and to move on. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen with me today. I appreciate your time and your attention to anything that I've had to say. If you like what I'm hearing, please like it, comment, share it so that someone else can be touched by this information and maybe it can be a light for them as well. You can find me on all social media platforms. My website is www.movingthemountains.net. I am Moving the Mountains Coaching on Instagram, and I am Moving the Mountains Coach on Facebook. And I apologize, it is Moving Mountains Coach on Facebook and Moving Mountains Coaching on Instagram. You can always reach out to me. I'm still providing complimentary coaching sessions and transformational assessments. I am here to provide a service to you. Don't hesitate to reach out. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Thank you for your time. And remember, every mountain can be moved if you are willing to take the first step.